particular the Kraus and Hilbert and Prairie families. We were so grateful for the successful surgery of Vernon, but so sorry to hear that it was such a trying time, and we're still hoping and praying that he will get to come home today. We are very sorry for all that Paula and her family endured because of ALS, but we are now able to celebrate her freedom, and after reading numerous posts on Facebook and seeing such an outpouring of love and prayers, I felt we needed time to share our thoughts. And I would like to invite anyone to come up to the front, or if you're more comfortable just standing where you are. I'm asking Joyce to record this so the family may hear our thoughts and our prayers. So I open it up to whoever would like to speak.
I didn't know Paula very well. I always thought she was a beautiful, gracious, and kind person. And I remember I had an acupuncture patient who had gone to see a surgeon, was scheduled for surgery that week, and she was really upset because she'd gone in for a pre-surgery and she'd just seen the PA, which is the way it is now, but she thought the surgeon should at least come by and say hi. And she really didn't want to have the surgery, and but she felt that she was forced into it. And so I called my sister and got where Paula worked, and this lady and I called Paula, and she didn't know this woman from Adam, and she really gave her some really good questions and talked to her and got her an appointment that week with a surgeon that she worked with. Well, it turned out the woman really didn't need to have surgery, and she's fine, she lost weight, and she's out of pain. So Paula saved someone just by being kind enough to take that time out of her, I'm sure, really busy day, to talk to her, and then to get her doctor to see it. So that's kind of who Paula was, you know, just like that step above.
I have another view of Paula, the young girl. You know, in our marriage, I've had lots of mother's helpers. So Paula came one day to help me, and the first thing I asked her to do was to hang out the jeans on the line. So she went out there, and I looked out the window, and she was standing there looking at the jeans, looking at the clothespins, and she came back in and she said, "Do you want those hung by the legs? Do you want those hung by the waistband?" I said, "Kurt likes them hung by the waistband." So she went out and did it, and fine, and then she came back and she said, "I don't know how Mother hangs those out." And so the same day, we decided to cut up a chicken. Well, she had never done that before, and so I tried to talk her through it, and it was a little trial. And again, when she was finished, she said, "I think I need to ask my mom how to cut up the chicken." So anyway, it was a neat day when she was not the polished, wonderful woman she became, but probably an 8th grader or so, was still learning.
I'll go ahead and go. I'll go ahead and stand up here because one of the last times Paula and I interacted, and actually the last time I saw her was a Sunday that we were, Logan and I did church, and we had just done one of the videos that day. I was really unpolished and unprepared, and I'm sitting there, you know, and I'd kind of told her, because she had asked me if we were doing church, and she was saying that she had told me that, you know, one really fond memory we had was when we did church together, like when we were going through confirmation and in high school and things like that. I think she was here and I was there when we usually did it, but those were fun things. But, you know, Paula was probably the first friend I ever made, and we stayed friends for forever. You know, we did so much together, whether it was in school or here in the church, or, you know, sometimes going and doing things on our own. Even the 2 years she was at K-State, you know, everyone kind of drifts off and finds their own friends. But I remember we went and saw one of the Indiana Jones movies together, and up in Manhattan, and did a few things like that. But you know, the memories of her that I have, you know, there are just so many, whether it was here in church, downstairs playing Bible dominoes, or in Sunday school. I always thought she was better at memorizing her Bible verses than I was, but that always kind of impressed me. And later in life up here, and it's like, wow, she retains that, where I kind of felt like maybe I didn't, you know, as much. But, you know, just different things, playing outside there, just going through school. You know, she was fun to have in class. She was well liked by everybody, became the homecoming queen. Excellent saxophone player. I think she was one of those that excelled, whereas a lot of us were basically just in there because, you know, it was just something to do, but she seemed to take it to another level. You know, there's all sorts of things. She did all the sports. It was kind of funny, about a week before she passed probably, and we'd text each other silly things. Several weeks back, I found an old picture of us and the forensics team together, and I sent her a copy of that, later put it up on Facebook, and she got a kick out of that, because she was putting bunny ears behind Michelle Crable's head, and I don't know if Michelle knew it at the time, but it ended up in the paper like that, and we were all had a good laugh over that. But I remember doing her in the speech and drama stuff. We had a couple of school plays. There was one where she was a beauty pageant contestant, and she brought her saxophone up, and, you know, she was like really nervous and not very confident, and she came out with and played "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on the saxophone, and, you know, botched the thing, you know. That was just kind of the humor. Obviously, we know she nailed that one in 5th grade, but in high school. But and then I think that the year later, and I was laughing about that. She's like, "How do you remember that?" Because I just randomly texted one of the lines from the school play where her and Doug Kaler were like these gangsters that ended up at a summer camp, and, you know, she just, it seemed like she really had fun doing those and hitting that. But you know, I think I could sit here and fill up the whole hour, and I don't want to be selfish doing that, but you know, I think I tried my best to keep in contact with her, and it was really kind of unusual because just this week there was an instance where I saw someone or something that's like, oh, I had to tell Paula, and it's like, I can't, you know, but she was there. And then just Friday night, I run into a classmate of ours, Troy Galt, who he lives down in Kingman now, and he was kind of a character. We all enjoyed having him, but he was kind of the type that, you know, he really didn't want to be in school, didn't necessarily want to be there, and kind of just kind of had a surly sense of humor about him. And I would run into him pretty frequently over the last couple of years, and I just saw him, and, you know, he was aware of what Paula had done. But it seemed like every time I talked to him, you know, I would always tell Paula, oh, I saw Troy, you know, and you know, that was another thing where it was like, you know, I really hated to not be able to share some of our conversations with him, because I know she liked those updates, you know. And the only other thing I can really say, or obviously I could say more, but I want to give other people a chance, like I said. But a lot of times I didn't necessarily think that our class was as close as some of the other classes. You know, some of my best friends were either in the class above me or the class below me as far as the people that I hung out with the most, or even 2 classes below me. And I remember someone commenting one time where a classmate of ours had gotten married. You know, this was when we were in our 20s, and it's like, there wasn't hardly anyone from the class there. And I'm like, well, to be honest with you, we probably weren't as close as some of the classes because we all had our friends there. But I think through Paula, that really pulled a lot of us together. I feel like a lot of us who really hadn't had much contact, and you know, everyone has their little cliques and things of that nature, but I think she really brought us together, and I can just see, you know, the influence she's had on other people, and I think it's going to stay with us all for forever, and I just feel amazingly privileged to have shared so much of my life with her and her family, and I'm just really grateful to have known her and known her as well as I have.
I didn't know Paula, obviously, when we were younger, but just in the last 15 years or so, with being acquainted with Roy, and then, but these last 3 years, I really do think I live my life differently now after watching her go through this. And initially, when people are diagnosed with an illness and you think, why on earth would God do that? I mean, Paula was beautiful and just the epitome of everything that women strive to be. And so you think, why on earth would she be stricken? But watching her go through this with the grace and the beauty and love for others that she showed definitely inspired me to do things, go to grad school and just be thoughtful in everything I do, because it just seemed as she got worse health-wise, her spirit stayed so strong, and she always was looking to other people. I know at the walk it was all about everybody else. It wasn't, you know, and how they were doing, and she was always just trying to make sure others were happy. And I realized that a lot of things that you feel sorry for yourself for, or you just need to put that aside. And so to try to live more like she did is something that is important to me. And so she touched people that she didn't even know very well in ways she probably never imagined.
I have a gift to share, and it actually is from a retreat that I gave a couple of years ago, and Paula came, and we were to bring a quote and then to talk about what that quote meant to us. And Paula wasn't able to speak at the time, but she was still writing. And when I went in the house to get the tablecloths, I found this, and it just felt, I'm supposed to share this. This is Paula's writing, and I'm going to send it to Linda because it's very dear. I'll try to read it to you. It Something I have learned is that no matter how dark things seem, the sun will come up the next day. I will crawl out of bed, and then I realize that just being able to have another day is all I need. The phrase "finish strong," which you saw on the t-shirts, started jumping out at me. I would see it on t-shirts, the internet, even in my head. It has become my mantra, and there have been numerous times saying this to myself has gotten me through. Regardless of what came before or what has come or what has yet to come, what matters right now is how I respond to the challenge before me. Will I lie down or will I fight? The choice is mine, and I choose to finish strong. You have to fight through some bad, difficult days to earn the best days of your life. When I read this and when we all wore those t-shirts, I thought, how is she going to be able to finish strong with this horrible disease that just takes everything away? But she did. She finished strong. She was able to be present with people even though she couldn't speak to them, and at the end she couldn't text, but she was so Paula in and out, no matter what the disease did to her body. And as I was talking to Linda and Vernon up in the hospital, you know, they explained that her death, the kids came home, they were with her, Brad was there, they were all there, and they just stepped out for a moment because the hospice nurse thought it was going to be another week or so. And I believe she let go. And God picked her up and carried her, and she finished strong.
Well, I copied a bunch of posts on Facebook, but I think your messages said it best. Of course, I have to add mine. On January 7, 2013, after Paula Hilbert had been given her diagnosis of ALS, she sent me a letter telling me, at first, I felt like, why me? But after I thought about it, I started thinking, why not me? I have been blessed in so many ways that I feel sorry for anyone who might be going through something like this without any support or love. And I don't know anyone who did a better job of living courageously in the moment, making a difference in the lives of everyone she met. She went on to say, I feel like you already know this, but some of the happiest moments were playing duets with you. And later messaged me how much music comforted her and how much she missed singing and playing piano, but she was able to still sing in her mind. And I know it was a real blessing to me that for special occasions we'd get to play piano and organ duets here. She said some of her favorite verses were, he collects every tear in a bottle, Psalm 56:8, which goes on to say, in God I trust, I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? And he knows every hurt in your head, Psalm 34:18. In my Bible, the verse says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. God definitely did that for her. Much later in an article to the Nenasko Valley News and the Plains Banner, Paula wrote these words, which we can all learn from. Throughout my ALS battle, my goal is to always find the silver lining and stay positive. But when performing simple daily tasks becomes difficult or impossible, it is so easy to think, I used to do this so easily. Gone are the days of running early in the morning before work. Gone too is singing and talking, playing piano, eating, and being completely independent. I truly miss these activities. I felt the weight of this dragging me down. I had to put my finish strong mentality to work on this problem. So now, most days I can say, I used to miss out truly absorbing all the colors in the sunset. I used to take for granted how much strength I draw from my family and friends. I used to rush from one activity to another, not taking time to appreciate how wonderful it feels to be alive. And I used to not realize how important my faith in God is. So as difficult as it is to accept the changes, I think I'm finding my way down a new path in a new way with a new perspective. And she then ends with 2 Corinthians 3:17, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. What a wonderful gift God gave her that ALS couldn't take away. To be able to see the good and find blessings in the littlest things that most of us take for granted. To see the outpouring of love from family and friends and even strangers who knew this was a special lady. To have such a deep and trusting relationship with God that she could experience the strength to carry on, the happiness that fame and power and money can't buy, and the peace that passes all understanding, unless, of course, you know God. Paula is free and no doubt singing in a celestial choir and praising God, and I'm guessing he's saying, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." And I want to end with a prayer that reveals how higher blessings often come in ways we did not seek them. I ask for strength that I might achieve. I was made weak that I might learn humbly to obey. I ask for help that I might do greater things. I was given infirmity that I might do better things. I ask for riches that I might be happy. I was given poverty that I might be wise. I ask for power that I might have the praise of men. I was given weakness that I might feel the need of God. I ask for all things that I might enjoy life. I was given life that I might enjoy all things. I got nothing I had asked for, but everything that I had hoped for. Almost despite myself, my unspoken prayers were answered. I am most richly blessed. And I think we will leave the offering for after the service. I'll just put the basket in the back, and you may go ahead with your donations. And I'd like to go ahead with the hymn, Love Lifted Me, page 13.